Yeah. So why don't you talk us through the last item on our list?
So apparently, last week in Germany, there was this play event for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where they had a playable version of the game running, and where journalists could actually play the game. Compared to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, there have been quite a number of changes already. The first one being that, well, you went from 3 characters to 2 characters. But a lot more came out. Apparently, the game has been made more accessible, quote unquote, as in that you can just spam the one button to do a complete combo. And that there are also rumors that apparently the Dragon Punch motion, which is forward and then a quarter circle forward, let's
Is
say.
that the Shoryuken?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Has also been removed, and they should now do a Dragon Punch by tapping down and you like double down and then one button, and then you do the same move. Though now I've also heard that that's not a final decision. But when that news broke, along with the trailer, it was like, what is happening here? Because Marvel vs. Capcom 3 it's very chaotic, very quick, and you do need to put a significant time and effort in it to be good at it. And I wonder how the fighting game community will think of this, because why are you removing some essential features of a fighting game? Stick motions and everything, to make it more accessible for the mainstream. That is really weird.
I don't think it's really weird.
Well,
One of the big things now is that Marvel is hotter than hot. So hot. It's burning. And that's sure to attract a lot of casual or non-fighting game fans to this game.
This is very true. But when the
I'm
news
sure that
first
they want
broke,
to accommodate those people.
Yeah, but it was more like it's going to be simpler, and that depth of play that you had in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is not there. That is the problem.
I'm sure they didn't say that, though.
That's the problem. They kind of did, but now you also read that apparently the motions all are still in there if you want. But that's not a final decision. They can still take that out.
I'm kind of... I see this more as a positive thing, but I can definitely imagine that people see it as a negative thing.
Yep.
I know that you are an accomplished MVC3 player.
You MVC3.
The abbreviation there for a moment. But and I own the game. I bought it not too long ago on PS4. Digitally.
You have it?
Yeah.
We should play.
We should. But the thing is, I started up and I played a little bit, but what I could not wrap my head around, like the dumbest design choice, in my opinion, that just immediately scares away people like me who aren't, very, very versed in fighting games, is that all the combo thing, all the explanation, it's not written for PlayStation X, square, triangle, circle. It's written in like red attack, high attack, low attack, or whatever, and it's like I don't know which button combination that is. So you want me to? They're essentially asking you to remember button combinations within other button combinations.
Well, that has to do due to the fact that a lot of fighting games tend to, if you have a stick or you have a pad, it's different, right? The button layout. So what a fighting game does is say, okay, especially Marvel, you have 4 buttons. That is your low, medium, high, and S button. S button is your launcher, so you probably will not use it quickly or in the beginning of a combo or whatever. And you just map it to, the buttons you want, that layout. So it's actually, rather than saying, okay, you have to push triangle, X, and square, you say like, okay, it's L, M, H. And depending on your layout, that would be indeed triangle, square, X, or circle, square, right trigger. It accommodates every style
what
of play.
I don't understand is, I understand that they want to keep it like customizable essentially, but what I don't understand is if I play on a game on a PC and I play on keyboard, then all like in the menu, the keyboard prompts like this button is this, that will all show up like with keyboard keys. But when I plug in my Xbox 360 controller, then it'll automatically switch over to the Xbox buttons. Is it really that hard to do that? Like to
Well, probably
like
not.
tons
But
of games
this
on
is-
PC do that.
But it's, to be honest, is also something very minimal. It's three
Well,
buttons,
maybe
four buttons
it's-
to remember. That's not really that hard, right?
It kind of is. I mean, it's very overwhelming. That's the thing. It's you're thrown in this game, which, like you said, is very chaotic, very frenetic and fast, and you have to remember lots of combos. Which, I mean, yeah, you can remember them, but it's just an added hurdle that you add in for people that are not familiar with fighting games and want to get into fighting games.
But that is probably not going to disappear with the new one, because you will still have 4 attack buttons.
Yeah,
It's not like
I
that.
think that's such a weird design choice.
Well, I don't really see a problem if you have to choose between learning a deep combo and memorizing where 4 buttons are. You'll do that automatically anyway. But you are correct.
I'm sure. I mean, like I get you can do it, and I mean I can do it, but it's the hurdle, and fighting games in and of themselves already have a reputation in the video game community of being like hard to get into, because it's like if you want to play online, like everyone online is very good. It's kind of like, you know, the image that fighting games have, right? And that it's hard to get into, and it's not helped when the tutorial itself is not easy to understand. See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
I don't really agree, because again, it's just 4 buttons. It's just LMH and S that you need to remember.
If that's the case, then just make like a beginner mode where it's changed, where you can change it or something.
Well, let me put it this way: when you play a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, you do have to remember that, okay, triangle is this action, square is this action, and circle is this action. It's the same thing, though, right? Because you need to allocate an action to a button.
Except, sure, but in Marvel vs. Capcom, like in Horizon Zero Dawn, in the tutorial, you walk up to something and a box will pop up and say, you have to press X to do this. In Marvel vs. Capcom, it says you have to do red attack. And I'm like, what? You haven't told me what the fuck red attack is.
Yeah, but you can find that out.
Is.
That's one in the menu. Red attack. Oh yeah, that's H. Or it gives you actually the liberty to choose what red attack for you is. It's so open. It's so great. It's Marvel, baby.
Well, I think we won't agree on this one. But in any case, in general, separate from like button mapping or whatever, like I said, I think many, like the fighting game community is very... I know that for a fact that I don't buy many fighting games. I sometimes want to get into them, but I don't have the time to learn all those combos.
Yeah,
and,
no, that is very true. You do have to put significant amount of time in there to get good. And to get back to the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite part, where they say you mash one button and then you do a set combo. That combo is always just one set, and it always has the same damage output. People were kind of, what is happening? Why are you dumbing it down? But then I remembered on the Vita version you had this as well, and I think actually on the PlayStation as well, but I'm not sure. On the Vita, you could just mash your touchscreen and it would do a combo automatically. So it's just an added feature, but if you can still do the in-depth things, like creating your own combo, do the actual button inputs, and also with the stick motions and everything, then I'm actually kind of okay with it.
Well, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has a simple mode too, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure what that is. Is that
Me either, but it says simple mode, so I usually pick that one when I play.
I'm not really sure
Yeah.
if you then also do the same combo, yes or no. But I'm wondering if you have the simple mode, right, or the bash one button for a combo type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm wondering is if you choose that, is it only for that match, or if you do not want to have that in your round or in your fight, can you turn it off? So
It's
that
you can select it at character select.
yeah, but in Infinite, so the one that's not out yet.
Oh, I don't know that one. I don't know,
but that's what I'm wondering. There are still. It's interesting because the game is coming out in September, and it was announced like 5 months ago, and they have been very quiet, very very quiet. We only know a couple of things that are coming, or a couple of characters that are coming out. You know the roster of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's a very big roster, and they have a lot of things still to announce. So I'm wondering, what will happen
because
there.
right now it's Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Ultron,
Rocket Raccoon, Mega
Rocket,
Man, Sigma. Did you already mention Hawkeye?
Chris Redfield,
Also, yeah.
who has smuggled his melons into the game again.
Yes. Did you say Captain Marvel?
Oh yeah, she's in there too, huh?
Yeah, awesome. And what else? Well, they say it's going to be based off the MCU, which is then you can already know which characters are going to be in there. But yeah, they have, I think, 5 months left to announce a lot of things, and this was not really the announcement I was hoping for. Even though I seen a gameplay clip of about 5 minutes, and it still seems very chaotic if you want to, and fun. So I'm still cautiously optimistic, actually.
I wonder if Wolverine won't be in there. Because the X-Men have always been a big part of it.
True, especially Wolverine. But apparently, the rumor is that the X-Men characters will be DLC characters.
Okay.
And
because the series started out as X-Men versus Street Fighter, I believe.
I actually have no clue.
Also, it was. I read up on it a little bit last week. It was X-Men versus Street Fighter, then X-Men versus Capcom, and then Marvel versus Capcom. And apparently, in X-Men versus Street Fighter was also 2 fighters instead of 3.
Yeah.
From what I understand,
Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was actually I think the first one with 3 fighters. But the problem with Infinite also is that you do not have the assist support moves anymore.
I saw something about that you can sort of have both characters out at the same time.
Yes.
And one is being juggled, and then you can get the other one out to kind of help get rid of the juggle.
Yeah. So you have to waste 2 bars to do that, and then you can try and get somebody out of a juggle. You have a hard tag button, so you can hard tag at any time in the game. And if somebody is doing, let's say, a beam special, and you hard tag them in, the other character will finish his attack while your tagged in partner now can still move around. So it does open the thing up a little bit. You also have, of course, the Infinity Gems or Infinity Stones.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, that will be 6, I think. And that's sort of a comeback factor, if I am not mistaken, because you have to charge that up during the fight, during the match, and it will get stronger the more damage you take, etc. So it will be the X factor of the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite game. So yeah, it is switching things up. If it's for the better, I do not know. But after the initial news launched, I'm now cautiously optimistic, as I said.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, I think it's a good idea if they make it more accessible. And by all means keep the competitive part, but I always wonder why fighting game fighters don't take a good look at Soul Calibur 2, which had a story mode, quote unquote story mode, where you would go like one fight at a time, and every fight they would explain like a new technique or a new move, and you had to do that a couple times during the fight, and then if you got that, then you would move on to the next, and they would teach you something new, and then after a while they would like do like a test where you had to do a bunch of that stuff. That's a really good way to learn. And Soul Calibur 2 is the only like fighter that I like, apart from Smash Brothers or whatever, that I was ever sort of good at. And that's mostly thanks to that story mode. It's a great way to do like a proper tutorial. I think it's really weird that fighting games don't have that nowadays.
It seems that Infinite does have a story mode, or a
but it's a story mode, not a tutorial mode.
No, that will probably be like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where you have the training sessions and where you can go into the lab to check out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
But indeed, a full-on story mode where it teaches you the basics step by step. No, it doesn't have that.
Get on it, game designers. All right. So, any last thoughts on Infinite?
Change the fucking art style.
Really?
The only thing they have to do is add shell shading, but now it looks like ass.
Shell shading?
Yeah.
Like the turtles?
No, sorry, cell shading. No, and also in the background there were a couple of textures where I was thinking like, that doesn't really look good. And Thor's hand was also really not good, and Chun-Li was a little bit, what happened there?
Give Thor a hand job.
Episode title right there.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Case,
On that note.